Hey y'all, my name's Seth Packan, and this is Podunk Perspective, a podcast based on the Podunk Perspective. Podunk Perspective, we are here with my man John Haywood. How we doing?
Feeling pretty damn good tonight.
Dude, you've been a good friend of mine for a while. I moved to town like 3.5 years ago, and couldn't tell you where or when we met, but
I think it was actually through Kaylee because she plugged me in with Luke Casey. And I think I met you at Luke Casey.
Absolutely.
When I did the first CMA thing that you guys did.
And you've been killer. You've played pretty much every year
I've done
since.
like 4 or 5. I got like 4 or 5 pairs of boots from you guys for that.
Do you love them?
Oh, I love them. I love my Luke Caseys.
So you're an artist in town, also a songwriter. Tell us how you got to town and how you maybe picked up the guitar.
Well, I moved here initially in 2019, and I wasn't a songwriter at the time. I was just a writer, a fiction writer. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in English in 2013, and like traveled around the world and stuff, and was just writing fiction. And I finished a novel that I'd never published, but stories and poems and everything. 2016, I traveled across the country just for the hell of it, and that was the first time I passed through Nashville, and I just felt like there was something cool here. And I remember I stayed at the hostel on First Avenue. And so 2019, or around like mid-2018, I was thinking about going somewhere else. And I was tutoring English at the time at Huntington Learning Centers for like SATs and stuff. So I just kind of like looked at the map and saw, what cities had Huntington Learning Centers that I could transfer to and get like a letter of recommendation to and all. And I picked Nashville. Because I had an interest in the city and all. And so I moved here and was kind of doing research on the novel. I could hold a tune and I could play a little guitar, and I had a few songs that I had written. But I did some writers' rounds and some co-writes and just kind of got to know the scene kind of as research. And by the end of that year, right about the time that COVID hit, I went to Ireland to work on my novel. And the whole time I was there, I was just like, I want to write songs. I don't want to write this book anymore. And so, after COVID let off, I came back in 2021 specifically for songwriting.
So obviously it sounds like English and, like reading and writing have always come easy to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I've never really been a natural at anything in my life.
Yeah.
But, I started writing... this is the one thing I could say. When I was in high school and junior and middle school and stuff like that, whenever I'd have a book report, I would never read the book. Like, I didn't read a book until I was like, I don't know, 18, 19 or something. I think The Hobbit was the first book that I ever actually finished, and it's still my favorite book to this day. But whenever I had a book report, I was really good at like reading the first page or the back cover and just guessing what the whole book would be like. And so I would just write, like, I always got A+ on my book reports, but I never read the book. So I was really good at that, making up stories, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. So you're from Maryland originally.
Yep.
Kind of tell us maybe how that was like growing up there and what you did. Did you play sports or anything growing up in high school, middle school?
Yeah, I played baseball my whole life, up until about 13, 14 or so. I was a pitcher one year and like threw my arm out. And then I came back when I was 15 and played, I think, one more year for the county league. And I played a little bit of soccer. I always wanted to play football, but my high school that I went to was really small. My graduating class was like 12 people, and we didn't have like a football team or anything.
What city were you from?
So I'm from Gambrels.
Okay.
Or there was another area that I lived in. It's called Arden. But I always just tell people Anne Arundel County.
Yeah, I have some family from Frederick.
Yeah. My oldest brother lives north of there in Woodbine. But it's a good area out there. Yeah. And my dad's from South Baltimore. My pop opened like a sheet metal contracting company down there in Curtis Bay. And my dad took that over. And so I got a lot of roots up there, and my family never really moved around a lot, even my relatives and all. Right. They all kind of stayed around there.
What type of music were you growing up on?
Well, my dad listened to 90s country. My mom listened to like 80s, 90s power ballads and like Celine Dion and Whitney Houston, and she liked Norah Jones in the '90s, and she hated country music. I've gotten her into it a little bit, but I didn't really start expanding my music taste until, and really started catching on to like singing and stuff until I took my high school sweetheart out to dinner one night at Olive Garden, and Frank Sinatra was playing.
That's
and
great.
I was like, "What is this? I've never heard this ever." And I was a big fan of like the '50s and stuff, and and like the swinging '20s and everything like that, like that whole few eras. And I got really into Sinatra, and I credit like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin for teaching me how to sing a vibrato, because I'd sing that stuff in the shower all the time. And then in my 20s, and of course when I was in high school, I was listening to emo and stuff, and like I went through the grunge phase and everything, and Sum 41, Linkin Park, and and then Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and My Chemical Romance, all that stuff. Like I still love all that. I'm actually like a big Avril Lavigne fan too. Yeah, she was a badass back in the day.
She just had a country collab recently with Nate Smith, right?
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. So, when did you put out your first song? Like, when was that?
So my first one that I put out was a couple years ago. It was Ghost Town in the Sky. Yeah. I put that out. Paul Ebersold produced that. I wrote it with Henry Gates. And I think that was actually my first co-write in 21 when I came back here for music. And that was a song that also kind of really taught me how to sing, because I remember it was my idea to make this like really low note in the chorus on the hook, and I couldn't sing it. And so like I decided to start singing it this way, but I couldn't do it. And I was still learning my voice. And so I put it to the side, and it was Ryan Garrett one night. We're sitting in his garage, and I played that song, and he was like, "Dude, that's your best song." Like, how Ryan is. Like, bro, you got to sing that out more often and everything. So I started doing it, and it was embarrassing for a while because I couldn't hit some of those notes, but that song really taught me my range and like helped me find like my growl a little bit,
Yeah. So you mentioned you kind of went on a long journey, traveled across the country.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was kind of lost in 2016, and I had actually been doing like some evangelical work. Like I worked with kids, like teenagers, and taught them how to like evangelize to people. So we would go out to like Baltimore Harbor. I used to be very involved in the church, grew up Christian and all, non-denominational. And we'd have these tracts, these $1 million bills with the 10 Commandments on the back. So I was like teaching these kids like how to go out to the harbor and evangelize to people with these tracts. And it was a time that I had a lot of spiritual conflict and stuff, and mental conflict, and I just kind of felt like leaving. So I told my parents I was going to a wedding in Nashville, and then I kept going south, and they would call me and they would be like, "So when are you coming back?" And I was like, a week. But like, meanwhile, I'm driving around Florida, and then I start heading west, and I go through Texas and everything. I end up in Southern California, go all the way up to Northern California, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm coming back pretty soon. But I was just like, I didn't have the heart to tell my mom that I was going to be gone for so long. And I just lived out of my car, and I would sleep in my front seat a lot. And actually, one of like my fondest memories from that trip was when I'd fall asleep in the car, I'd just wind my driver's seat back. Yeah. And if it was too hot or if it was too cold, about 3 hours of sleep, I'd wake up because I was freezing or I was like sweating my tail off. And I'd have to turn the car on for about a minute and just like blast the air, turn it off, go back to sleep. Next 3 hours, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. But and I stayed at hostels around the U.S. We actually have really nice hostels and some hotels and stuff. And then I wound up in Northern California, and I had this dream of always, like, I always wanted to live on a sailboat.
Yeah.
like work on a sailboat or something. So I wound up in San Francisco, and I went across the Golden Gate Bridge to Sausalito, which is like a really wealthy area.
Yeah.
But out in Richardson Bay there, you can anchor out any boat for free as long as you got something heavy enough to hold it down. And like next to the nice marinas and stuff like that. And I was sitting at a cafe, and I went through Craigslist on a whim, and I found this job listing to work on this guy's boat. And he had this 56-foot hull cement hull boat. The mast was broken on it, and he was turning it into an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And he probably had like train wheels holding that thing down underneath of it. It was massive.
Dang.
And so I worked on it, like built some bunks on it, cleaned it up until it got to be too much. And then I bought my own boat, lived on that for a bit.
What's this like span? Just like a few years span, a few months span?
This is like 8 months maybe.
Damn, that's wild.
That I came from Maryland all the way over there. And then I fell in love in Marin City. And then we broke up. And so I left. Tendency to do that.
Yeah. And
so I left again, started heading back east. We got back together somewhere in Colorado Springs over the phone. And then I decided to keep going back east to meet her back at my parents' place.
Yeah.
So, and then I moved to South Africa with her because she was
from
South Africa. So I was there with her in South Africa for a good four months maybe.
How was that experience living out there compared to here?
That was awesome, man. It's like the Wild West out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I flew in to, I used to travel overseas alone a lot. And so I flew in to Cape Town, which is on the west coast of South Africa. And I don't like to go to touristy places. So I drove down to this little fishing village. And Cape Town's very touristy. So I drove down to this fishing village called Fishhoek. And strangely enough, I met a guy from there, like at the local, about a week ago. It was nuts. And but a little tiny village on the water, and stayed there for a week. I was trying to surprise my girlfriend at the time, but I had told her mom, and her sister that I was coming, and then she got the hint, and then she got really mad that I was on the West Coast, and she lived on the East Coast in Durban. So then I rented a car and drove across to Durban, and stayed with her for a while. But it's different, man. Like, you gotta look out for yourself, right. And it can get pretty risky out there.
Yeah. Like, did you ever encounter like any like crazy animals and stuff while you were out there?
I don't think in South Africa. The craziest animal I ever encountered, though, was in Italy. My first ever overseas trip. Yeah. I stayed out in the middle of Tuscany near this tiny little town called Villamagna, and I stayed on a farm. And I went hiking one day, and I went out to it's called La Pineda, which is like the pine forest. And so I went out to this pine forest, and there's like a row of trees like this. It was kind of like a 90-degree angle, and I'm walking through like close to the trees, and I hear this thing that sounds like I don't even know, like a bobcat or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It sounded like some kind of cat, and but like a big cat. And I was like, shit. So and it was to my right in the trees. So I start backing away slowly. I can't see anything. And then I got far enough away, and I just kind of like booked it out of there. And I asked the lady, I knew a little bit of Italian, and so I was talking to her, and I was like, you got any, predators around here or anything like that? And she's like, no. Looked it up and all, couldn't find anything. And then one day I got the courage up, and I went back to the pine forest. And I heard that noise again, but it was further, and it was down the hill. And I looked down the hill, and I see this deer, and it does it again. And it looked like a little doe, but it made this noise. It's like a defense mechanism, I would imagine. Dang. Like, it was crazy, dude. It scared the shit out of me.
That's wild. No, I remember going to Italy, and that was one of my favorite places outside the country. I went to the Tuscany area, and it was beautiful, man.
It's incredible out there.
It's the food's amazing. I remember I tried rabbit foot for the first time or whatever out there. It was great. it was killer.
Yeah, that was probably some of the best food I think I've ever had.
So
was in Italy.
what was that trip for? Like, were you going there for music, or was it just just on a whim type thing?
No, I mean, this was long before I did music. This was right after I got out of college. I worked for about 8 months, I think, as a janitor on my college campus after I graduated, and saved up enough money to go to Italy, and I went to Northern Ireland as well after that. And it was just for fun, I always wanted to get out of my comfort zone.
Right.
And that was part of the 2016 trip of driving across the country. It was like I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. And so, I don't know, it was just kind of an experiment. And I wrote a lot of journals and stories and poems and things like that.
So do you find like, after all that experience and like, really diving into like writing and stuff, do you feel like it makes it easier to write in the sense of music, and, putting your songs together and storytelling?
I think so. I mean, it definitely helps with uniqueness and writing something different, which I've always tried to do. And I'd love to say that, like, solid life experience is always going to make you a better writer,
right,
in any respect, a songwriter or fiction writer or whatever. But, you see these young kids come to town. I mean, I'm 36, and you got some kids out there like 18 years old that are writing stories and songs that seem like they're just years beyond them.
Right.
But some people just have a mind for that. I've always based my stuff off of real life experience and everything, but it's helped me a lot, and I think it would help anybody. But I don't know. There's some great young writers out there that are doing it without all the life experience.
Right. So kind of tell us maybe about your experience in Nashville and, the highs and the lows and how you work through those.
That's just my friends. I mean, I don't know what I would do without the guys that I've met in this town. Chris Andrucci is my best friend.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people I met in this town. Just a really positive guy. When I moved here, I was very much a pessimist, and I struggled to be really like joyful at all. And I really battled with a lot of my internal, mental health and emotions and stuff like that. And being around people like that who are positive and work hard,
right,
that's helped me. My dad taught me a lot, but I still had a lot of work to do to be a man and understand what it meant to be a man. And as far as work ethic and how you treat people in friendships or relationships, and just your outlook on life in general. And I've just been very blessed to have met like some really good guys that have gotten me through a lot of rough stuff. And I don't know if I can attribute it to much more than that in the good Lord, because I mean, I'd like to say I figured it out and rolled with the punches, but it was tough.
What's something that outside people, music fans wouldn't expect, that like artists have to go through and songwriters have to go through, I know there's always the struggle of like trying to get deals and like how do you balance that mentally, and do you care about that, or like is that something that you're trying to work on, or
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, especially when you're working hard, I think the toughest thing about this industry as a songwriter and an artist is when you're working hard and you get to a point where you think you're pretty good, and you see people around you that are getting attention, and whether it's from labels or a manager or even just writers' rounds or something like that, and it's just the toughness of looking at that and not taking it personally.
Right.
But we all take it personally. I mean, we're artists, we're emotional, sensitive people, no matter how tough we try to be. That's what makes us good artists and good songwriters. But all the rejection and playing a cover gig where nobody's there, and having to sit through that, and that's really tough. That's really tough to go through, and all the little things add up, when somebody's rude to you in the crowd or whatever it may be. But like, that stuff's tough to go through. You got to really develop a hard shell.
Right. That's why it's important to go follow your artists, go listen to them, go tip them, because they're not necessarily getting paid that much to sit there and play that night, but it helps when you go listen to their music and, you share it with your friends and you leave town and you go share it with your friends outside of town,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've played at like Losers and the local and spots like that. Kind of tell us your relationship with them and how you got in with that crew.
Well, Losers was through Chris. And I mean, we all know Losers well. It's practically my that was one of my haunts for a long while. The local was just kind of recommended to me, and I just started hanging out there, and couldn't stop. I mean, there's just a great family there. I was talking to one of the bartenders recently, and we were just kind of reminiscing a little bit, like we've known each other the whole time. And she saw me when I was at my worst. I was pretty miserable when I came to this town, and just talking about this stuff, like you really do get close to these people and you care about them, and they care about you, which is nice.
Yeah, as you should, right? And like you've worked down on Broadway, right?
Oh yeah.
Kind of tell us, how different that side of town is compared to maybe the local side of town.
Well, there's a lot more chaos. Obviously, the locals hang out in Midtown and stuff like that. But I would say just the music, most of all, like you hear the same covers over and over again, and no discredit to any of the bands. You got to do what you got to do, and that's how you make your money. But then you go to Midtown, and there's a bit more of a focus on the songwriter. I mean, the local is a bar that is owned by a songwriter, Jeff Reed, and then Odie's. I'm a big fan of Odie's right now. I've been playing for them, and they actually asked that their artists do 20% originals during their sets, like a 3 or 4 hour set, even if you're playing with a band. And they want to focus on the artists and the songwriters and stuff, and I think that's just really cool. So we're starting to get some more venues around here that I think are more focused on that. I've heard some good things about Eric Church's bar too.
Right. Yeah. Well, the more that these bars and artists invest into the artists that are playing at their bars, it's like all of a sudden they could be pulling you out on the road or something. You never know. I mean, like I feel like that's how this town should work. Morgan Wallen should have some of the best people playing at his bar that fit his style to the point where he can maybe bring them out on the road eventually. I mean,
there's an end result.
I mean, this town is that big, and I mean, people are saying it's the next LA and all this stuff. I mean, there's not really a hotter town right now. It's pretty wild.
I think this is the most popular town in the world right now, honestly.
Yeah. What do you think? So Post Malone just did his whole thing down on Broadway last night. Yeah. What do you think of like him coming into country and doing his whole thing?
I love Posty, and I've loved him for a long time. I've been listening to him since Beer Bongs and Bentleys. I love his music. I love his personality. He's a sweetheart. And as far as him getting into country, I thought it was cool that he collaborated with a lot of country greats and just like showed respect to the genre. And also, I was playing at Losers at the time that he was coming into town to work on that album. And he would be at Losers just hanging out. Yeah. And if people came up to him, like, he was just friendly. He's just a nice guy. He switched jerseys with a buddy of mine, Bobby, and like, he's a really sweet guy. And he, like, I always say, like, he came to this town and like romanced Nashville. Yeah. He didn't just make a country album. Right. He romanced this town and like doing the music video downtown with Luke Combs on the trailer bed and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's giving back to the city, in multiple ways. That's how you ought to do it. And it doesn't matter if you, like, somebody asked Willie Nelson one time, like, what is country music? What do you think about all the pop stuff and all? And I think he just said, like, country is whatever it is to you. Like, if that's country music to you, then do it. Yeah. I don't think we should be too concerned with it as long as your heart's in it and you have respect for the genre and, you're doing the best you can and just write good songs to affect people in a positive way,
Hey, dude, amen to that, honestly.
I love Posty.
So kind of tell us, for people that haven't heard your music, what you inspire to put out and, maybe the type of sound you put out.
I mean, I kind of got a name for myself in this town as like an outlaw guy and like a Western dude. I like cowboy imagery. I grew up watching the Westerns with my dad. Um, but lately I've been going more toward the folk route and getting back to the blues a little bit. I started with the blues, but outlaw was just kind of the first thing in country that really like, takes my ear and I still love that stuff. Like I love getting rowdy. I love the outlaw lifestyle. And so that's really close to my heart. But I never want to just be like this particular kind of artist.
Right.
I always want to be able to experiment. Like I look at a guy like John Mayer, and it's like every one of his albums is an experiment in something different, a new sound and a new style of writing maybe. Or even like Ed Sheeran does that a lot. He experiments a lot with his sound. Or you look at guys like Sturgill and Tyler Childers, they do the same thing.
Right.
And that's the kind of artist I want to be. I want to be able to evolve and
Try
move around
things.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say, especially the first time I heard you, I was like, damn, he could be a part of the Highwaymen. It's pretty awesome.
That early outlaw stuff definitely, talking about that Ghost Town in the Sky song, like that was an outlaw song, and it helped me kind of find my voice, and the lifestyle gave me my voice, I think, smoking cigarettes and drinking too much tequila and everything else,
Late nights at the Red Door.
Yeah, I always had a bit of a deep voice and a bit of a chip on my shoulder and some growl to me, but definitely the last 5 years in Nashville have added to that and kind of formed it. So I don't think I'll ever lose that.
Yeah.
It'll always be a part of me. But
so fast forward to the Melrose tapes. I find this pretty cool. It's a project you're working on, an idea you came up with. So I used to live at the Melrose. You live at the Melrose. Yeah. That's why I find this super cool. So kind of tell us about it.
Yeah, so I kind of had this idea for a couple years to just record work tapes and have them mastered. And a work tape being just, an acoustic recording of me sitting on my couch playing to my iPhone.
Yeah.
And the reason I got that idea was because one night I was sitting on my couch and I think I was drinking red wine and I was a little loose about 2:00 in the morning. And I start working on this song and I'm just like mumbling through it or whatever. And I go to sleep, wake up the next morning, I listen back to it and I was like, this is terrible, but it sounds kind of cool. And I was like, it would be cool to just like put a recording out that just sounds like this. So fast forward, I don't know, a year or so. And it was last winter I was thinking about how I feel about the industry and what I'm doing. And I was struggling to come up with the money to put out, fully produced songs and find my sound and be confident in it. And I just kind of let go for the first time since being in Nashville. And I was like, you know what? I have all these songs that I just want people to hear. Why don't I just put them out?
Right.
So I sat on my couch and put the phone exactly where it was before when I had tried it with the one song, and just recorded, all the songs on the Melrose tapes were recorded with my phone, just sitting right there, and just me and my guitar. The only one that wasn't recorded at the Melrose technically was Emerald Queen, the first one. I recorded that in Maryland, on a couch though. I had to do it on a couch.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and I just get them mastered, tone deaf mastering. He does all my mastering for those, and he does a great job. So just figured I'd put them out, and there's songs that I care about, and they mean a lot to me, and there's just something cool about like the raw take on things.
Yeah, well, people can't relate to it if it sits in a book, right?
Right.
So that's the best way to do it. So you brought your guitar today.
Yeah.
I think we should get into some music.
Yeah.
Let's do it up.
Yeah.
Podunk Perspective, we are back. We got some music from my man John Haywood. What's this first song you got for us, man?
I'm going to try a brand new one. This is a song that I did on a bus back from Virginia with Justin Andrews. I opened for him over the weekend, and I had a bottle of whiskey and a napkin and a marker, and I started writing this down. My phone was dead, and we talked about that outlaw lifestyle, which I love, and so this is about that. It's called Outlaw and Me. I've got both feet in the flames, one in the grave, and I can't tell what's worse, heaven on earth or burning up down in hell. 'Cause there's a lady of three that's got my mind on her, and of the promise I won't keep, oh brother. Why do you have to make them angels so damn pretty? Why do you have to put them all down there in Tennessee? I'd be better off alone, but I can't say no to a good time, a good girl, and bad whiskey. That's the outlaw in me. I've been drinking damn too much, don't give no fucks anymore. Can't tell what it's all for, I'm hanging on by 3 chords. Why do you have to make them angels so damn pretty? Why do you have to put them all down there in Tennessee? I'd be better off alone, but I can't say no to a good time, a good girl, and bad whiskey. That's the outlaw in me. I've been sinning more than I've been living, but God, why'd you have to make them angels so damn pretty? Why'd you have to put them all down in Tennessee? I'd be better off alone, but I can't say no to a good time, a good girl, and bad whiskey. That's the outlaw in me. That's the outlaw in me.
Let's go. That's awesome. So you wrote that one by yourself, or did Justin help you write that one?
Just me. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was in bed.
So do you write most of the songs by yourself, or do you obviously you write with other people sometimes, but like...
Yeah, I mean, I write pretty frequently with other people, but usually when I write with other folks, I'm writing for somebody.
Yeah.
And I've written punk songs, I've written pop songs, blues, like folk, everything, pop country, and traditional stuff and all. And most of the songs that I would cut myself are solo writes. Mm-hmm. I write a lot by myself. And usually when I come upon a song that I co-write with some people that suits me, it's just kind of by chance, And like I had one the other day, 2 new guys that I'd never written with before. A good buddy of mine was the 4th, and we didn't really know who we were cutting for. Like, I mean, who's cutting songs right now? So we kind of just wrote the best song we could and ran with some initial ideas, and about halfway through, I was like, I want this song. Like, this is my song.
That's awesome.
I can try to play it for you.
Yeah, let
me give it a shot here. It's a brand new one. I wrote this just the other day. We'll give it a shot. It's called Stardust Tumbleweed.
Let's go.
Yeah, a space cowboy. I've cussed at the sun, I've cussed at the rain, I've shot at the moon, I've been stoned, I've been insane, been out on the road with trouble in my veins. There's always room for two, but some things never change. I woke up feeling drunk, I pour whiskey in my cup, I can't seem to ever get enough. I look in the mirror, I get lost in those eyes, scars on my face and my disguise. Lies are sweet lies I tell myself just to get me by. Ride on, I ride. When you hear the wind blowing, I'm that thunder in the sky. They say legends never die, so I walk the halls of time. Long ago I buried myself alive, 'cause this earth, it was never mine. I'm settled in the stars on that range high up above, still rolling free like a stardust tumbleweed. I hung it up and traded in my 6-gun to ride 1,000,000 miles around the sun. Lies are sweet lies I tell myself just to get me by. Ride on, I ride. When you hear that wind blow, I'm that thunder in the sky. They say legends never die, so I walk the halls of time. Long ago I buried myself alive. This earth, it was never mine. It was never mine. It was never mine. Lies, oh sweet lies I tell myself just to get me by. Ride on, I ride. When you hear the wind blowing, I'm that thunder in the sky. They say legends never die, so I walk the halls of time. Long ago I buried myself alive, 'cause this earth, it was never mine. It was never mine. It was never mine. Something like that.
That's a badass song, bro.
Brand new one.
I love that.
Thank you.
So you're gonna put that out?
I'm actually, I might actually put that out pretty soon. I'm just going to wing it and just take a chance. I fell in love with that one.
That's a really tight song, man. That's so good. This is why I do this podcast, is because it reminds me of, like, I hear guys like you out, in Nashville all the time, and I want to bring it to people that aren't in Nashville. And this is, I feel like, the easiest way of doing it, Yeah. And there's super talented guys out there that, maybe the industry is not putting money behind, but there's a easy way to find them, and it's just going on YouTube and typing in Podunk Perspective.
Right.
So.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. What's this third song you got for us?
I'm going to do another new one. This is, I wrote this over the summer. It's called Heard. And this is my story. This is, I bring up 2016 in this one. And every line in this song is true to me. And I don't know, it just kind of goes out to all the songwriters and dreamers out there. It's called Heard. I ain't meant to do this. I'm from a quiet family. My daddy was a sheet metal contractor. I should be doing that instead. But I hit the road in 16. Passed through Nashville on my way out west. Bought a pawn shop guitar, played some no-name ball. Thought I could get used to this. But these Music City streets turned into a highway to hell. Too many midtown nights, tequila shots and no rest. And I thought by now I'd be in front of a crowd, 50,000 strong, singing my words out loud, but it's a long, hard road to the top. These days I'm just trying to get by, trying not to stop, cause it brings folks together if I'm all around. Hell, I'm even a little closer with my brother now. I've been knocked down a peg or two, but it don't matter if it only ever speaks to you. Cause when I started out writing songs, I thought I was gonna change the world. But now I just wanna be heard. Well, my numbers aren't great, but I got a young face. Buys me a couple more years in this rat race. And I wanna make sure I remember why I did it in the first place. If I don't get paid and I don't get the fame, it's still worth it. Even though I thought by now I'd be in front of a crowd, 50,000 strong, singing my words out loud. It's a long, hard road to the top. These days I'm just trying to get by, trying not to stop, cause it brings folks together if I'm all around. Hell, I'm even a little closer with my brother now. I've been knocked down a peg or two, but it don't matter if it only ever speaks to you. Cause when I started out writing songs, I thought I was gonna change the world. But now I just wanna be heard. Just wanna be heard. Just wanna be heard. Well, I thought by now I'd be in front of a crowd, 50,000 strong, singing my words out loud, but it's a long, hard road to the top. These days I'm just trying to get by, trying not to stop, cause it brings folks together if I'm all around. Yeah, I'm even a little closer with my brother now. I've been knocked down a peg or two, but it don't matter if it only ever speaks to you. Cause when I started out writing songs, I thought I was gonna change the world. Yeah, when everybody starts writing songs, they think they're gonna change the world, but we all just wanna be heard. Just wanna be heard. Just wanna be heard. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Hell yeah.
Let's go. I love that one too. It's a true testament. That song should be heard by 50,000 people, man.
Yeah, well, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Working on it.
You know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna click, and you know, if it's just a matter of time and meeting the right people, and you know, having people hear the song. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that. That's all it is. Just having people hear the song.
Yeah, you know, I always say one of the reasons I moved here to Nashville, particularly for music, was because I wanted to get lucky in the industry, like with music,
Right?
not just get lucky. And I feel like the more opportunity you create for yourself to get lucky, you have a higher chance of getting lucky.
Right.
You know, but everybody has to get lucky if you're an artist. And Nashville just seemed like the place that had the most opportunity in it, you know, and the highest chance of getting lucky.
Right.
So.
No, it's cool too, and then kind of what you were saying earlier too. It's not, you know, it's you don't have to pocket yourself in one genre, especially with a voice like yours. You know, it's like it can fit multiple genres, and that's so popular to have that uniqueness right now to be able to do that. So, congrats, man.
Thanks.
What's this fourth one you got for us?
Well, I guess I might as well do a Ghost Town. This is a song that kind of started it all for me, and I got a couple versions of this out right now. I did a stripped down version recently that was just very acoustic. But I always say this is a song about being a songwriter and not knowing if you're doing it the right way or if there is a right way to do it. Mm-hmm. So, Ghost Town in the Sky. Jesus saves, but the devil pays the bills. A whole lifetime getting by on old guitars and marble lights makes you think about the fate that you will and the choices that you made. If on my judgment day there's a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gates, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over aces and eights, and the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? Well, I started out looking for fortune and fame, but them dreams faded fast. Still the song was meant to last. If they sing along but they don't even know my name, well, I know I've done it right when I step into the light, and there's a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gates, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over aces and eights, and the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? If there's a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gates, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over aces and eights, and then the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky?
Forever a badass song. It's so cool. I love that one, man.
It's one of my favorites.
Dude, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So, you're going out on the road for a little bit.
Yeah, so I got laid off from my job recently. I had a day job, 40 hours a week, and for the last 6 years. And so I think it's just kind of a kick in the tail, and I'm just going to go live on the road again for a while. And I'll still be coming through Nashville to write my ass off when I'm in town.
So
and,
people should give you a follow on the Instagram to see where you're playing.
Absolutely.
And where you're going to be.
Yeah, and send me recommendations.
Yeah, you got some acoustic shows lined up.
Yep.
Where you're going across seas too, you said? Yeah,
so I'll be up in Maryland, Canada, Chicago, possibly Boston, Vermont in November. And then middle of December till the middle of January, I go to Scotland. And I've lined up quite a few gigs out in like London area.
Nice.
I'll pop over there, and then I got some gigs over in Scotland right now. So, yeah, we're gonna take it to the UK.
That's exciting. That's good stuff, man. That's gonna be a good adventure for sure. Go check out John Haywood's music on all platforms. Go check out his social media. Go check out the TikTok, Instagram, the whole thing. Go check him out on the road. He might be near you. You never know.
Hell yeah.
Well, cheers, man. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yep.